Namaste. Welcome, welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and I'm here today doing live tarot readings. And over the past several weeks, I've used lots of different spreads to focus on certain kinds of questions and to help you work through whatever it is that you're working through at this time. I just wanted to mention that today's spread I am taking from this little book from the WilderWoven Tarot. Probably not going to be using this deck today. It's still quite new to me. I'm using the relationship spread that Greg has described in this book. It's a kind of a common spread. I've seen it in lots of different places where we have two cards for one part of the relationship and then two cards for the other person. And then there's two cards in between. And we'll look kind of to the energy of the six cards to weave a story and to bring in some conversation about the relationship that you are in. So this is, what do I want to say? Whatever kind of relationship question you want to ask, I think we can work with this spread to help find some answers and to, hello there, Danielle, and to help find some answers and clarity around the intention of both. And if you look at the thumbnail, some of you were looking at that, or I believe in the description box below, the cards that are underneath each person speak to unspoken feelings. And what I feel is that in a relationship, we're even not aware of what it is that we ourselves are not sharing, or perhaps what it is that we need to, come out actually through the voice. And so I think this is kind of a clever spread. The two cards in the center are cards of offering. So what can you offer the relationship, and then what can the other person offer the relationship? Hello, Diana. Welcome. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be working with the Lily White Tarot, which is a deck that I am immensely familiar with. I love this deck for relationship readings because of its watery nature. And there is a intense beauty to this deck. It speaks really well to relationships. Now, if your relationship question is more about a business relationship, we can do that as well too. And I will probably switch up the deck if you're going to be talking to me about a business relationship. But this is it's an absolutely gorgeous deck to work with for that. And I have probably, I don't know, 15 decks or so beside me here today. So we can switch that up. And if you have a request, I can let you know if those decks are beside me. So yeah. And as there are no questions, hello, Anna, in the chat yet, I can open with just a kind of a general message for everyone, for the collective here, and then we'll get into the relationship questions. So why don't I use Greg's deck for the opening reading? If I just, where did I put it? It should be right here. There it is. This is the WilderWoven Tarot by Greg White. This was a gift from Tarot Stash, Gerald. It's a little bit bigger deck. Need strong hands to shuffle this one. Okay. So for the week moving forward through April 6th through 13th, what is the general message for the collective? And in keeping with the theme of relationships, how can the energy of this reading support us all uniquely and collectively in our relationships? And you can go ahead and start posting your relationship questions if you have any. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so this is kind of beautiful. Matches the theme perfectly. So Two of Cups is the card in the center. And let me switch that for you so you can see the cards better. We'll go like this. And for some reason, it's just not focusing well. I need to see if that will. I wonder if I have something on my camera. Just give me 1 second because I want to make sure that this is working. This is the next card. I want to see if I can get this to stay focused. These are beautiful, beautiful cards. I wonder maybe I should add one more light. So the second card is the Empress. Oh my goodness. This is kind of a beautiful, beautiful reading. There we go. That's better. Touch the phone. So the message for the collective is one very much of a soulful nurturing of relationships. There's a reciprocity here. What I want to say, you know, we have the mother nurturing relationship. We have the relationship that's represented usually by a couple in this card here. And you know, sometimes it's difficult to see the reflection in relationships. If the relationship with mother is struggling, often the relationship with the other, maybe the partner, is struggling. And so we often have common patterns in our relationships. So what is striking me here is the suggestion to look at your relationships with the people in your life and to seek out do a little bit of journaling about, for example, if it is mother, how does the beauty of my relationship with my mother, how is it reflected in my relationship with my partner? Or you could move to the opposite question. And then we have the Hangman. All right, so let's try to weave this together for this week's message. The Hangman is a bat, and the Hangman asks us to see things from a different perspective. And I think this is kind of beautiful. You know, there's quite a few books out there, lots of teachings through psychology, through different self-help gurus and so forth, that it is really essential in order to understand the relationship that we are in, is to view the relationship externally. We can see this in our environment in many, many different ways. And I just find this fascinating that these two cards are sitting here. So please take some time this week to look at that. It may be a relationship with a child, an intimate relationship with a child you are struggling with, and see how that relationship is reflected in other aspects of your life. Kind of very interesting. Okay. I'm really, really enjoying, I'll just show you a few more cards from this deck. I mean, I could use this deck for a reading, but I feel I'm not super comfortable with it yet. It's really just very, very special. Okay, so let's get to your questions. And first of all, what I'm going to do is explain. I did explain the spread, but I'm just going to show you the layout. And that way, if you want to do a reading for yourself, we can do that. Okay, so there are 6 cards in the spread, and I will zoom out again. Zoom out. So the first card represents you. The second card represents the other person in the relationship. And then there's a card that goes underneath for each. These are those words, those expressions, the voice that is not being expressed. So your voice, your partner's voice. And then there's 2 cards that go into the middle. And you can look at these as gifts. Perhaps they are unseen gifts. Perhaps they are realized gifts. This is the gift that you are offering, what you have to offer to the relationship. This is what the other has to offer to the relationship. Okay. And I will, as always, adjust, adapt, adjust, accommodate based on the question that you are asking. Okay, so the theme is relationships. And let me go back up and hello to Julia. Welcome, welcome. Helen, hi. Kimmy, did I say hello to you? Welcome. And let's go to Danielle. All right. My voice, I did some readings yesterday. My voice was just going in and out. In and out. So how are you all? Hi there, long hair, skinny-eyed toe. Welcome. How is everybody doing with the transition into the new season? Have you started any projects or planting? And for those of you that are transitioning into the autumn, I guess you're putting away all your summer stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the querent, who is Danielle, Woven Pixel. As always, we ask these readings be in the highest for the greater good and that no harm be done. Allow the cards, allow my voice to share your wisdom, as always, supporting Danielle through her journey with Sean. Okay, so here is Danielle. Here is Sean. Unspoken. What is unspoken? What Danielle offers and what Sean offers. Aren't the card backs beautiful in this deck? Okay, so here's Danielle. Fox sitting on top of a pile of logs, kind of surveying the land. There is a lot of wand energy here. This is the 9 of Wands. It feels like, you know, I never thought about this card this way, but I almost feel a sense of claustrophobia here. You know, don't foxes like to run and play and feel free? And here this fox is feeling rather stagnant. The way the fox is sitting on the rocks, there's no movement. The fox is looking straight ahead, almost as if in a daze. It's kind of this, if you don't normally do this, take your time to look at the picture. Talk the picture. You can really get to know your cards in a different way if you can begin to tell the story of the picture. So the energy that represents Sean in general is, so this is the World card. So, you know, in general, this represents the end of a cycle. Things are shifting for Sean. There is a lot going on down below. When I look to this card, you know, we want to see in a traditional card, I mean, there's balance in the corners. And in this particular deck, below feels very, very like there's a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of different flowers. We've got the fish. It feels like a lot of weight in the lower half of the card. Maybe a lot of responsibility. Perhaps Sean's focus is on the material. Maybe his focus is on, you know, the three-dimensional aspect. Again, I never have really looked at this card in this way. Above, we have the reflection in the upper half of the tree, and it feels a little bit imbalanced. You know what I mean? Like it's bottom heavy. And I don't know what that means, Danielle, necessarily in your relationship, but we'll look at what the underlying cards are to help expand on that. It is a card of peace. It is a card of balance. We have the Star of David, or the hexagram in the center, which would indicate a need for balance, a need for peace before we move on into anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Danielle's second comment. She says, work is on spring break, so we are working to catch up on repairs. Lots of Chromebooks in my queue this week. Yeah, you have a very, even though school is on spring break, you are in a session. So here we are, lots going on in the mind. Four of Swords. So the swords are, the energy of the swords is beginning to build. We've moved from the 3 into the 4, and this is a time, this is a part of the process where we need to step back. And I can see, perhaps if this is what you are not speaking, is that during the spring break, during this time that you are in, perhaps what you are not saying is, honey, I need a break. I need a rest. And if this is not a couple of hours in every day, or a couple of days entirely, it would seem like it would be in your highest interest to voice the need for this rest and for this break, whether this is for you as a couple, or this is for you on your own, so that you can restore and move, restore and feel healthier in the relationship. Doesn't it make sense that a 4 of Swords is beneath a 9 of Wands? It's kind of a, yeah, kind of tells the tale. Very, very interesting. Okay, so Sean is going through something quite different than you are. Whether you are conscious of it or not, there's a serious shift, transformation happening with your partner. And whatever level this is on, it would be, he might not be revealing what this shift is. You know, he may be feeling like he's ready for a change. He's ready to let something go. He's ready to, I don't know, it feels very big. These are 2 very significant cards. So it would be important for you to take time to ask him about potential shifts and potential things that are going on in your relationship. Hi, V, welcome. Okay, so these are the offerings. These are the gifts that you can add to the relationship. So Danielle is so this is the 7 of Swords. What is striking me here is that you don't have to, I was going to say you don't have to do it all. In this card, the tendency was that you don't have to take it all. The energy of Swords is building. We've gone from a 4 of Swords to a 7 of Swords. So there is an accumulation of the weight on the mind. This whole kind of triangle here speaks to responsibility and just a lot of weight. But this is a gift. And what this gift is that the eagle has realized that they can move forward without taking everything. It's okay. It's okay to let go of a few things. It's okay to release one of these swords and let them fall to the ground. This is the King of Cups. This is the King of Cups. So a couple of things. One is that, I don't know, is Sean a sensitive type that perhaps has not recently been or had time to or been sharing his emotions and his feelings because he's been consumed with something else? It feels like perhaps there's a lot that can be offered here romantically, poetically, for you as a couple. And so maybe what it is that the gift that you offer is the gift to release some of this tension from the mind so that the poetry, and I use that metaphorically, can begin to flow. Yes, sensitive type. Hi, Marg. Thanks for being here. Okay, so Danielle, just do a little bit of reflection on this. This seems highly significant that he's going through something, and if he is a highly sensitive type, he's going to be aware of this, but might not understand what this transition is. And then over here, we have a very kind of practical Vata type person, right? That's an Ayurvedic term. It refers to somebody who tends to be in the mind a lot and is in need very much now of a little bit of rest and restoration. So how can the two of you very different personality types take some time to connect and bring out the, I feel like the softer qualities in each other? Yeah. Okay, so there's so much more I could say, but I'm going to leave you with that for now, Danielle, and do a bit of journaling and let me know if anything else comes from this reading. Thank you so much. Hello there, Liminal Lark. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to Diana. And Diana is currently not in a relationship, but there's something unresolved with her and Dave. And so we will focus on that. And as always, I didn't say this earlier, it is wonderful if you feel like you want to chime in on these readings and you see something that it's always very supportive, you know, to help each other out. And in no way do I feel like you are stepping on my toes. You are more than welcome to add to the conversation. Okay. All right, so this is for Diana. Much left unsaid in the connection between me and Dave. There are still many question marks left. Okay, so take a big exhale breath. Diana and Dave. Let's get some clarification around the relationship between Diana and Dave. Okay. So Diana, Dave, unspoken Diana, unspoken Dave, offerings or gifts of Diana, offerings or gifts of Dave. Okay. You're welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so this is Diana. This is the Knight of Swords. This is the sigil of the suit. It often looks more like an owl. This has very, very eagle energy. Okay, so let's look in contrast. So both parties this is the Eight of Wands. Both parties very active, let me say that. Right? These are the two masculine suits, fire and air. These are the active suits. These are the doing suits. These are the suits that are not receptive. So perhaps one of the issues here is that you were more alike than you thought you were. You know, and knowing, and I mean, I don't know you very well. I've seen you in a few classes, and you strike me as very quiet and very feminine and very receptive. And so perhaps this is an external mask. This is an external facade that you put on instead of allowing your softer feminine side to grow through. Really interesting that the ace, this is the Ace of Pentacles, shows up as what is unspoken. So perhaps it wasn't clear what it was you wanted to build with him. Perhaps that was not entirely clear in your mind either. And So this is Two of Swords. So what was unspoken around him was his inability to share his different points of view and his conflict. So, this feels like this is Dave charging out of the relationship, running away from the relationship, running away from all of the responsibilities, right? This particular Eight of Wands is not charging towards you, but charging away from you. And the reason he was charging away from you is because he couldn't manage the conflicting points of view in his mind, perhaps. Something like that. So let's look to the gifts in the center. Okay. So he definitely had or has the potential to be part of a family unit. But the Emperor has particular qualities and loves the structure. He loves the power trips. He loves the authoritarian role. He loves to be in charge, right? He likes to feel in control. He likes to feel appreciated. He likes to be recognized, right? He likes to be on the throne. He likes to be recognized for the king, for the emperor that he is. And so his gift is in all of those qualities. And whether or not that gift is appreciated or not is another thing. And it's very interesting that Diana's gift is one perhaps of seeing many, many different viewpoints. You are able to manage much more in your mind, perhaps, than he is able to manage. This feels like multitasking, right? This feels like somebody who gets overwhelmed with just two ideas or two thoughts. So what this spread does is help us to reflect on how we are presenting. So Diana is presenting as the energy of the Knight of Wands. Dave is presenting as the energy of the Swords. Diana, Knight of Swords. Dave as Eight of Wands. The unspoken energy, Two of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. Now, it's possible that the Emperor would have been very, very receptive to Ace of Pentacles, but I'm wondering if that conversation even ever happened, or there was some fear about that conversation. Hey there, Kristen. Yeah. So I hope that gives you some food for thought, Diana. I am really, really liking this spread. I think it is I might even do this for myself after we're done. Okay, so let's go on and to see what we can bring in for Anna. Okay. And if you are not connected in some way for Super Chat, for donations, for readings, there's a couple of links below in the description box if you feel so inclined to make a donation for your reading. It helps to support my work. Okay. So on the right side of Anna's reading, that other card is going to represent, well, let's look at her question. Her question is, you're welcome, Diana. Why do you end up disappointed and feeling very alone? So we're going to use the right-hand card to represent Anna's relationships in general, or the choices that she makes in relationships. So this is for Anna. This is for Anna. So allow this reading to help bring some clarity around how she is presenting, what she's choosing, perhaps any, yeah, let's just let the spread speak for itself in support of Anna's journey to a healthy relationship. Okay, so this is Anna, and this represents the kind of relationship that she normally attracts. Unspoken Anna, unspoken relationships, Anna's gift, and perhaps the gift that she hasn't been seeing in another. Okay, so how Anna is presenting is as the Page of Pentacles. As soon as I turned that over, I felt, okay, this is quite a childish, there's a lack of maturity here. There's a naivety. There's a naivety to this. There's a beauty, and there's a playfulness, and there's a softness and a gentleness, but there's also a naivety. So let's just see what the gift is. So the gift is one of cooperation. Okay, let's just start weaving this together piece by piece. So this is also young at heart kind of energy, is attracted to those who carry a lot of responsibility. This is the 10 of Wands. And that makes perfect sense, because this kind of a soul would be looking for protection, looking for comfort, looking for a home, looking for in choosing somebody that takes on a lot of responsibility, there would be some comfort and safety that we would assume would come into place. Now look at the body language of the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is looking to this card, but the body is moving away. It's almost as if the page is kind of thinking about it, but not engaging. There's a curiosity, but not a willingness to engage. Thank you for the super chat, Marg. I'll get to your question next. And Diana, thank you so much. Okay, so let's go down below. This is the 20th card, which is a repeating card. We saw this in a previous reading. What is unspoken is this, it may be more than unspoken, the realization that Anna, I'm sorry if I was using the wrong name, Anna is ready to move in a new direction, to become more mature, perhaps, to take on more responsibility, to grow in relationships. This feels like the page is ready to transform into the queen. And there's this process that is, there's this process that is being desired, and there's awareness of this process of stepping into the Queen of Pentacles that you really are. The thing about this, though, and this is very interesting. So the pages in this deck all have a little heart above them. They are very heart-centered. They love to live at the heart space. And sometimes it's very romantic, right? It's a beautiful place to be in relationship. But this card underneath here feels like a major transformation for Anna. So let's go down here. Very interesting. So look what we've got here. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is underneath the person who has a lot of responsibility. And again, perhaps this is about choosing someone who is too similar energetically to you. You know, when we have earth and earth, it feels, I don't know, this is very interesting. Earth, we don't necessarily want to pair Earth and Earth. On the surface, he appears very fiery, lots of responsibility, very active, perhaps good in the the bedroom department. But the energy here is one that is more receptive and wanting to stay home, perhaps wanting to be taken care of. But the Page of Pentacles may not be ready. Now, we have more pentacles here. Pentacles, pentacles, pentacles. It's a lot of pentacles. It's a lot of focus on the material. It's a lot of focus on perhaps things that are too heavy. The gift that, well, this is a pretty nice gift in a relationship. It's a pretty nice gift. But it doesn't last, right? It doesn't last forever. And unless something is done with that spark, unless something is done with that spark of the Ace of Wands, the relationship isn't going to go anywhere. The gift is the action, but what happens is there's burnout and there's no follow through. It's really beautiful that the Knight of Pentacles is underneath here. It tells me that the kind of guy that you are attracted to potentially down the road, 10, 15 years, might be able to sustain a relationship and work in partnership and grow together. But there's something about this that feels very real. And often when younger men are in a early to, just developing stages of their career, what they're not looking for is a relationship. There's a lot of conflicting information here. This tells me that in his heart, it's something that he wants, but there's other priorities that are going on right now. I don't know, Anna. There's a lot of food for thought here. So if I were to, you were saying, well, I'm attracting the wrong kind of person, so that to be looking for somebody who's not tied to their career, for looking to somebody who was more settled, who had learned to balance their career, someone who had learned to somebody who was a little more available emotionally. We have no emotion here, right? We just have a lot of fire. And so the sexual attraction is really significant, right? It's really, really important, and you're attracted to that. You're also attracted to the material, but I would be looking for somebody who was a little more available emotionally. Yeah. Thanks, V. Okay. These are very, very interesting readings, how this is going, working with actually the underlying messages of the spread. So remember, this is what is not spoken. This is what is presented. And in the center are the gifts. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. And it jumps, so just give me a second so I can figure this out. Let's go to Helen. Actually, I'll go to Marg, because Marg, did you have a question? And then I can come back to Helen. I'll just go to the super chats first. Okay. I'm just going to write down Helen here so I go back to Helen after, so I know where I was. Okay, Mark, I would love a reading about my Capricorn. I'd love to know his feelings and the prospects of conversing again. Okay, let's do that. All right, this reading is for Marg and her Capricorn. Please allow my words to be allow me to be a vessel for your messages for higher wisdom. Let's find clarity around the relationship with Marg and her Capricorn. And as always, we ask these readings be in the highest for the greatest good and that no harm be done. So be it. I like that V was laughing wildly about that. You know, I try to keep my readings PG, so I can't always say directly what it is that I want to say. All right, so this is for Marg and Marg's Capricorn. Okay, Marg, Capricorn, unspoken Marg, unspoken Capricorn, gifts and gifts. Alrighty. Hi, Masha. I am doing relationship readings right now and using this very beautiful spread from Greg White. Okay. 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 So Marg is presenting as receptive, intuitive. I am struck by the way that the High Priestess is holding the pomegranate. It's almost like an offering. It's almost like a very sensual offering. A very sensual offering. Love how the owl is sitting on her left shoulder. The owl is whispering into her left ear, supporting her lunar energy, supporting her intuition. So this really kind of speaks to trusting and leaning into signs and symbols. Okay. I'm really I don't know if these readings are how these readings are going to go today, but this feels very sensual to me. Capricorn is feeling very homey and very earthy, very also a very sensual card. And so the connection here is, wow. In theory, this could work very seductively. Very seductively. What is not here is a sense of 2 feet on the ground. There's not a dominant partner. You know what I mean? Like sometimes in a relationship, we need to have one partner, and we can reverse that role from time to time, but there's not one partner that's taking charge. Perhaps both partners are in that mode of wanting to please. Oh my goodness. So Marg, this feels like, wow, this is like extra watery, feminine energy, too many emotions, like really emotional. So what this relationship needs is some action and some fire, like, you know, I don't know, go play golf, go climb a mountain. Like it's, let me read your question. The prospects of conversing again. Okay. Okay, so lots and lots of emotion. This is the King of Cups. This is the Knight of Cups. So what is unspoken on your side is the poetry, right? The Knight of Cups. What is unspoken are the High Priestess generally doesn't say much, right? She intuits. She uses her third eye. And so what hasn't come through is the clear expression of your love. And so perhaps you can see that this figure over here would be very, very receptive to that poetry and to that touching the heart through romantic, in a very romantic way. The King of Cups is also, I don't want to say repressed, but not spoken. So the King of Cups is not coming through. I'm just like kind of mind boggled by how kind of one-sided this relationship is. So in order for this relationship to work, one of you is going to have to share the fire, right? To light the spark, to create the ignition, the adventure, the risks, the something, because it's all a bit much. Okay. Now, challenging cards in the center to look at as a gift. Okay, so let's take this step by step. The gift of the Capricorn is the Ace, right? It's the Ace of Swords. The gift of Marg is the Five of Pentacles. So there's a real practical, the fives, this is not an easy card. But the way that I can tie these two together is that the High Priestess is deeply connected to the spiritual, right? Deeply connected, trusting her intuition, very dialed in, so to speak. In this card, there is a separation between spirit and the third dimensional reality that we live in. There is an invitation to connect there. So what I'm feeling here is that your gift is one of being able to bridge the connection between the third and the fifth dimension. And so that you can make people who are not comfortable with the woo-woo stuff start to, I don't know, pique their interest or be curious about it. So I don't know if you're Capricorn and you had conversations about spirituality or anything like that, but it feels like in a poetic way, in a there's potential for you to invite Capricorn into your spiritual life. If, I don't know, if I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. The gift of your Capricorn is that he wants the truth. He is, okay, so this is the message I just got. He's able to, it's like there's no follow through. So he can start the conversation, but doesn't have the skills to finish the conversation. Does that make sense? Right? So his gift is the ace. He's like, you know, that game where you have a storytelling thing and somebody says, okay, provide me with the first word. And then you have to finish the story. Well, that's what this feels like. It feels like he can give you the first word, but he doesn't have the skills to go through and to complete that conversation. He'd rather just cook the dinner, you know, and it's going to be a really, really good dinner. The King of Cups is repressed. The King of Cups is not coming forth. But you need to know that the King of Cups is there underneath the surface, wanting to come to the surface. And what I'm saying is that you have the skills to do that. You have the skills to bring that up through him. So that's like, you have the gift to do that. You have the ability to do that. But he can't follow that through. Does that make sense? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. Where are we at? All right, so I'm going to go back to Helen. Oh, you're welcome, Mark. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Helen. Helen, can you just check in and let me know if you're still here? And then we'll get on to your question. And again, thank you very much, Mark, for the super chat. Okay. And if super chat's not an option for you, there are some other options for donations in the description box below. Okay. So Helen says, Rigmore is your love interest. We are in no contact situation right now. How does he feel about me? And what does the future hold for us? Okay, so we'll see if we can find some answers here. Okay. All right. Helen, I'm curious, what nationality is the name Rigmore? It's a very interesting name. Where in the world? Where are you from? It's so interesting how we can connect from all over the world with this stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this reading is for Helen and Rigmore. Helen and Rigmore. Helen and Rigmore. Help us to find clarity around the situation with Helen and Rigmore. Okay. So this is Helen. This is Rigmore. Unspoken Helen, unspoken Rigmore, and the gifts, the offerings that they have to bring to the relationship. So let's go to Helen first. Okay, this happens a lot, you know, when we do these readings about the repeating cards. It's very interesting. Okay, so hi, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. So first of all, where Helen is, or how Helen is presenting right now, is at a place of fulfillment. Let's use that word, fulfillment. Helen is a very successful, fulfilled person. Helen has a lot that is going on. Helen has accomplished a lot. And to acknowledge that and to celebrate that is extremely important. To be in a place of gratitude for all that you have. The name is used in Norway and Sweden, and you're from Estonia, though. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. So just to recognize that, and that you are at, this is the final card in the tarot, the world card. This is a place of, it is a place of transition, but it's also an important place to pause and to celebrate and to acknowledge all that you have accomplished. So Rigmore is a little confused right now, not sure which way to go. And if Rigmore is more on the intuitive side, he definitely will be able to figure this out. But sometimes the Two of Swords can present challenging for a lot of people, and we'll learn more about that by turning over the other cards. What Rigmore is not sharing, okay, so more repeating cards, Knight of Pentacles, is that indeed he would like to slow down. He would like to, you know, this is the potential for family. It's not the king, it's the knight, but there's definitely an interest in that earthy quality. But there is something on his mind, something that he's not able to reconcile. And you may know what that is, or be aware of what that is, but he's She's just a little conflicted at this time. And perhaps what you, okay, we have a little bit of a, this kind of makes sense. So let's speak to this. So he's presenting with the Two of Swords. What you are not sharing is the Three of Swords. Energetically, this feels very significant and important. And this feels like one of those situations where until you clear your past sorrow, until you work through the baggage that you still carry, it can be very, very difficult to commit and to enter into a healthy new relationship. Now, this may or may not have anything to do with Rigmore. This could be from past relationships. It could be childhood stuff. It could be any number of things. And often the connections, there are connections between all of these things, and they're not isolated. So it's an important part of your process, perhaps even like to do some counseling for yourself, not necessarily for the relationship, so that you can begin to let go of grief, let go of sorrow. And I know there's no timeline for all of this, but it feels like this is a very important card to show up here. It also says to me that this the next, like the Fool card, there's a pause before the Fool, because this is such an important thing to work through before we move to the next step, if you're following me here. Okay. Hello to Isabella. All right, so let's look at what the gifts are. 2 10s. 2 10s. 10 of Swords on the left. 10 of Pentacles on the right. All right, so he's definitely able to provide. He's definitely able to, his gift is one of abundance. His gift is one of connection with earth, family, home, all the three-dimensional stuff that's connected with the Suit of Pentacles. That's a very easy one. Your gift, this is a little more challenging to find the gift, right? So what is the gift in the 10 of Swords? The gift in the 10 of Swords is one of potentially moving into a place of trust. So what this means is the 10 of, my dog is just being fed here. So at the 10 of Swords, we have moved through this challenging suit. There's been a lot of mental, intellectual challenges. This is a suit that forces, forces isn't the right word. We wouldn't be working through Suit of Swords kind of stuff if we weren't ready to work through it, right? It wouldn't appear. So being at the 10 means that you have been through all the hard stuff. And I can tell by this 3 of Swords showing up here, you have been through a lot of challenging things. But your gift is one of moving from a place of control, a place of attachment, a place of needing to know, into just kind of letting go. And maybe if this is your gift, maybe Rigmore is very, very attached to control. Maybe there's a bit of 4 of Pentacles energy about him. You know, we have these 2 high Pentacles cards here. Maybe he's really attached to his stuff. Maybe he's really attached to the material. And that may, I mean, this is a gift, but it may be difficult for you to work with. I need to go back to your question, and then I'll try to wind this one up. You're in a no contact situation now. How does he feel about you? And what does the future hold for us? Okay. Okay, so potentially he feels, potentially this feels like family, but he's a little bit confused about this. What this tells me is that you are not quite ready There's some work that you have to do on your own before you can step into relationship. But this is actually not a bad gift to have, as long as you understand what I'm saying here. Okay, so part of your process is in letting go, releasing, right? This means everything from forgiveness kind of practices to grief practices to really working through those things that tug at your heart and finding peace. It's kind of beautiful that we go from 3 to 10. It's like a fast track. It's like a fast track to the peace, to the next step. It's a sign that the worst is very soon all behind you. And along the way, you have accomplished so much. And you need to celebrate that and be grateful for that, because you would not have pulled this beautiful card if you weren't accomplished and had a lot to celebrate on your own. Okay? It's just the challenging parts of the journey that need a little more time to process. Okay? Whew. Okay. Now we've been on an hour. I think I'll do a couple more. Just let me scan down here and see where I am at. Kristen Colby. This is the Lily White Tarot by Celia Millsville. I'll show you the front of the box. CeliaMillsville.com. Celia Millsville. I don't know if you can see that. It's also available in a mini deck right now. It comes out of France. I would love, love, love to have the mini deck. I think this is one of my favorite decks. Okay. Hello, Miss Amber. Amber's my dog. She's just arrived here. Okay. Let's go to where are we at? I think we're almost down at the bottom. Okay. We're at Isabella. So I am going to do a reading for Isabella and then Gayleen. You're very, very welcome, Helen. And those will be the 2 readings for today. The last 2 readings for today. This is a very in-depth spread. Okay, so Isabella, do you have a relationship question, or are you just wanting a general reading? Because I will not use this spread if this is not a relationship question. So I'm just going to wait for you to respond, and then I'll decide how I'm going to lay out the cards. And then Gayleen, if you want to just confirm if you have a relationship question, or indeed you just want a general reading. So you can let me know either way. Okay. And I did do a little bit of a reflection for the collective at the beginning, if you want to go back and look at the reading from the beginning, which fit in really, really nicely to the spread, actually. So Isabella says general. Okay, so I will do a 3-card general reading for Isabella Let us find clarity around the general energy, whatever's going on in Isabella's life now, providing insight into what is going on. Insight, inspiration. All right, so Hanged Man. Where are we going here? There we go. Hanged Man. This is it's a deep spiritual inquiry. And when this card arises, I really feel that there is a need to give yourself the gift of the space to do this. And it's funny because Masha was talking about this card. I was on with Masha and Amber, Lavender Moon, just before this, and talking about how sometimes the hangman just means to go and do a headstand. And energetically, what that means is that in turning things upside down and to reversing the energy, it's a very subtle, energetic kind of shakeup. And it does mean that we need to start looking at things from a different perspective. Sometimes we can get so stuck in our ways that it's hard to see the trees for the forest. And this is inviting you to see the trees for the forest. And the way that you do this is, it's very personal, but it's time to start looking at things in a different way. That is the Four of Pentacles, and this is the Star. Okay, so two major arcana. So this is kind of, it's significant. It's significant that you're at a period of your life where you are questioning. One of the things about the Star card for me is always its cleansing energy. And in taking time to embrace the energy of the Hanged Man, there is this sense of, I don't know, I use the word purification a lot in my teaching, but purification is a very specific kind of yogic term. We can do purification through pranayama, through breath practices. Even the physical asana yoga practice stirs up stuff so that we begin to purify the gunk, right? The stuff that gets stuck. It's the things that are not moving. And the reason you're hanging upside down is it begins to stir up the energy, right? The energy, the emotions, the things that aren't flowing. It's a quieter way to do it, right? This is not a card of action, but a card of just hanging upside down. And sometimes the best advice is to do a headstand or to go hang upside down at a playground, because we need to actually look at things in a different way. I used to have this math teacher. I'll never forget him. His name was Mr. Sparling. And Mr. Sparling used to, on the chalkboard, we had chalkboards in those days, he used to draw eyes on the board. So he would draw eyes from different perspectives to get us to see the math equations from different ways. And sometimes the eye would be looking at the equation this way. Sometimes the eye would be looking at the equation this way. And he was very good at getting us to see things in a different light. So in seeing things in a different light, there's going to be a tremendous release of energy. The other thing about the Star card, and I've been inspired a lot lately by the WilderWoven Tarot that I've been working with regularly, is that it does create an opening. It does create a path. It's like the Fool has been through a lot and is ready to embark on a new part of the journey. The other card that's over there, there's a reluctance to let go. There's a reluctance. And this Four of Pentacles here It's an important thing to journal on. It's an important thing to ask on, why am I holding on so tightly? It might not be your money that you're holding on so tightly to, but you're clinging very, very tightly to something or some things or some particular emotions or some memories. And whatever it is you are clinging tightly to is holding you back. And you might not even be aware of what that is. And the reason I'm saying that is because until we hang upside down and start looking at things from a different perspective, we can't necessarily get the insight into what that is that we're clinging to. Okay? You've been through a lot. Okay. I mean, this is a really, really beautiful card. You know, it's the card of hope. It's the card of hope. So this, Isabel, tells me that it's time to let go. And that is never, never easy. It's never easy. And this is like a gift to yourself. It's a gift. Maybe, you know, maybe this is it could be anything, Isabel. It could be like taking a course so you learn to see things in a different light, in a different way. It could be, I don't know, like travel is so restricted right now, but it could be about going to a different place, a different culture, so you see things in it from a different way. And then the final reading for today is Gayleen. And I have a husband, and we've been going through a lot. Just wanting to know how. Okay, so we'll use the spread then for this one. We'll use the relationship spread. Got it. Let's go take a drink of water. Hello, doggy. Okay. And thank you for your donations for readings. I really appreciate it. There's a couple links below in the description box. Okay. Gayleen. Gayleen, where are you from? I'm not sure that I know where you're from. So this reading is for Gayleen and her husband, and we're going to look at how they're both presenting. What is not being spoken and what are the gifts in the relationship? Please help to bring some clarity, insight into this relationship so that Gayleen can leave this reading feeling more clear. As always, we ask these readings be the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. Alrighty. There's something that was okay. So I just want to. This card wanted to. Wow. You know what? There was something weird going on with the cutting, so I'm just going to shuffle and do that again. The cards will cut where they want to cut. Would you like a reading, doggy? Have any of you ever done a reading for your pets, like trying to seek okay. It's funny. Okay. Temperance is on the bottom. I just felt compelled to turn that over. I might weave that in. Ooh. Okay. Let's. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure that the spread is actually going to kind of answer, but we're going to try to bring some clarification into what's going on and what these challenges may be. So you present as the Four of Wands. So this Four of Wands is one of a foundation. It is one of connection. It's playful. You know, you create the structure of the household. I love those two foxes in the center, or three foxes. It feels a lot to me like this is a trampoline. I don't know. It's a beautiful card, and so this tells me you are an optimistic person, that you value home, you value family, you take care of the family, you take care of home, and this is the Six of Cups. These nesting bowls beneath. And I'm curious why this is here. This is, you know, it connects much like the web in this picture. These nesting bowls remind us to reflect on the interwoven nature of all of our relationships, not only through family, but through friends, through our DNA, maybe even through ancestors. And so if this is what you are not speaking, if this is what you are not sharing or what you are suppressing, there's something about the past, something about past relationships, something that is, for one reason or another, you're not talking about it. And then over here, we have 4 and 4. So let's just think about this. When we have a 4 and a 4, we have 8, of course, but we have something very similar. We had a reading like this earlier where I thought, oh wow, like the left and the right side are so similar. And it's hard when there's so much similarity. There's a lot of structure here. There's a lot of containment. There's not a lot of freedom, right? Everything is boxed in. Everything is contained. And so perhaps what the strain on the relationship is the need to bust free. The need to bust free. The need to take risks. The need to do things outside of the box. The need to do something you've never done before. The need to, you know, just like forget what everybody else thinks. Forget what you're supposed to do. Like have fun. Right? Get naked and dance in the kitchen. I don't know, like do something different. It's too much containment. You're both a 4. You're both boxed in. So, you know, one of you has got to bust free and let go. Let go of control. Let go of the need to be in control. And you're both like that. In different ways, but that perhaps is one of the major things that is, it's hard, right? And it's almost like, well, who's going to bust free first? Who's going to let go? It's like the dam needs to burst. The dam needs to burst. And emotionally, you're not letting your dam burst, right? 6 of Cups needs to burst through. You need to talk. You need to share your emotions. You need to share your feelings, share your memories. If you can't do that with your husband, your partner, then you need to do it with a counselor or a friend or somebody, right? 8 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 8 of Cups. It's a lot of repressed emotion, because you're both probably control freaks. You're afraid. You're both afraid to let the emotions come to the surface. So in seeing that, maybe that will give you some insight. And you might not necessarily need to do that together. And often what happens is if one side can start to emote, it is an example for the other one to go, okay, this is a safe place to do that. This is a safe container to do that. And you can start to feel and share. But one of you has to go first. Okay, let's go to the gifts. The gifts. Okay, so his gift. What's that expression? Throw a bone. Throw a bone. Weird. Okay, I don't know why I'm saying that. Sometimes I just get these random downloads. He will throw you a bone. He will throw you a bone. Will you receive the bone? Make sure you receive any gifts that he offers you. Random message. Ace, this is the Ace of Pentacles. So his gift is, he has the potential to start over. Like he's like one of those Daruma dolls, you know, those Japanese dolls, when they bounce over, they bounce back up. Right? So he has the gift of being able to start over, to start fresh, to plant a new seed. Maybe he's ready to plant a new seed. Maybe he's ready to bust out of his box. And he just needs you to help him, to show him how to do that. Okay? This looks like counseling to me. It's the Hierophant card. You know, not necessarily a spiritual counselor. That's what that feels like to me. It feels like somebody who will support you in the relationship. So it feels like reaching out. And it looks like he wants to. It looks like he wants to start fresh. Okay, so which one is Scorpio? Your husband is Scorpio and you are Aries, is that right? Hey, Kristen, we're just winding up here. And Galen's in New Zealand. Cool. New Zealand. So you're moving into the fall season. So this is easier to process when you're moving into the spring and summer than it is into the fall. Everything I'm saying is harder to process in the fall. So you're going to have to work harder to do this. You know what I mean? Like in the spring and the summer, this kind of stuff is easier. As it starts to get colder, cooler, then, you know, the energy starts to slow down. So you're really going to have to put some effort behind this. Okay, so Aries fire. And I'd be really interested to see which aspect of Scorpio he's at. Okay. So amazing readings today. Thank you all for being so vulnerable and open and willing to share and kind of put yourselves out there. I know it's not easy. It's not easy. And oh, and I remember I had this. So the card at the bottom of the deck was the Temperance card. So that's the shadow. So that would be the inability or the challenging nature of the balance and the harmony, which makes perfect sense with everything I said. So yeah, so give it some thought and journal. And yeah, you can always book in for a private reading at another point if you want, but I hope that was of some comfort or help or clarity for you today. So take care, everybody. I will be back on Thursday. I'm thinking I'm going to do the movie tag started by Nancy at Paper Moon Tarot. That's one thing I want to do. And I have a few other ideas as well too. I've still got decks to unbox, and I've got to start uploading my Muriel videos. That's another one too, because I have to get back to my Hangman deck series, and that's the deck that I've been working with right now. So we will be doing that. Yeah. The thing also about the Muriel Tarot, for those of you, I don't have the new edition. So I probably should get a copy of the new cards just so I can speak to that. Sorry, I'm just like rambling and thinking out loud here, but yeah, I need to do that before I start putting those videos up, because I haven't even ever seen, I've seen them, but I haven't worked with the new cards in the Muriel Tarot. Anyway, thanks for being with me today. I appreciate all of you so very, very much, and take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.